Do you find it hard to switch between athlete mode and the other roles that you play in your day-to-day life? If this is something that you struggle with, stay tuned to the rest of the story. This is a topic I talk about with nearly every athlete that comes through my door, talking about whether or not athletes have the ability to switch off from athlete to student to everyday person mode. And for the majority of them, it's really hard to do that. You see, this whole concept of grind and hustle culture has led most athletes to believe that they need to be constantly outworking their competition day in and day out, grinding themselves in the gym, on the training field. And most of the times they are lacking this piece that allows them to turn things off and switch into recovery mode. Most athletes, when they get out of the gym or away from their sport, still find it really hard to turn things off. They have the stress of school or everyday life, and it's really hard to put themselves into a mode that allows them to fully take advantage of the harder work that they're putting out on the field, in the gym. And so one of the things that we prioritize is conversations around this ability to allow them to turn things off, right? To switch from athlete to everyday person. This is also where simple routines can be extremely effective. Telling athletes that as soon as they get home from practice or a training session in the gym, to switch out of those clothes, shower off that, and become the person that they have to be next, right? Whether that's just their everyday self, or it's student because they have to switch in and study for an exam tomorrow. We need these cues to be able to psychologically and physically give us a cue to switch off, because it's not sustainable for us to constantly be pushing, having things turned on, right? Inevitably, our body's going to put the brakes on for us. The best way to avoid that, right, is to allow ourselves ways of, slowly applying the brakes instead of something like an injury or a muscle tweak or something along those lines that drastically and very quickly put the brakes on for us. What I usually find is that athletes that do have these strategies and routines in place in order to be able to turn things off are actually able to show up better for each one of those scenarios, show up in each one of those roles that they play in life. So when they're called to be athlete and show up in the big game, in the big moment, in practices, they're able to do that much better. And also when they come home, they're able to shake the day off, fall right back into relaxation mode, get into student mode, and prepare for that role as well. Now, we're using the example of an athlete being able to turn it off from sport and become student, but it also applies to almost any human being in life. We all serve multiple roles. We all benefit from the concept of turning down one area of our life to show up better in another role that we play.